Hi everyone, welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today I've got this great collection of idyllic floral scene stamps. They are from Nellie's Choice. I can't wait to show you what I did with them, so come back and play with us. This stamp is called Desert, and I placed this on a slimline card, which is 8.5 by 3.5, and stamped my image using Hunky Dory Lightweight Essential Card Block, which is great. It's I think it's listed under Paper Wishes as Stampin' White cardstock, and it's this great big pad and takes the color really nicely. This is what that image looks like. I stamped it with a brown ink. This is Rustic Brown, and this is Finesse by Spectrum Noir alcohol-proof ink. So when you're using alcohol pens, which is what I use to color these stamps today, you want to use an ink that is alcohol-proof. And what's great about Spectrum Noir is they have just labeled both the black and this brown as alcohol-proof. You can't make a mistake on that one. However, they are water-based inks, so that it doesn't react with the alcohol, as is the Memento Tuxedo Black, which is also a favorite. So I'll list all of these below in the supplies used, so below our video here at paperwishes.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe, and also just click on the link below the video and it'll take you to this Paper Wishes webisode page. All right, so back to this. I stamped that in Rustic Brown and then colored with our Spectrum Noir pens. So this is a tri-blend marker. If you're not familiar with it, it's got 3 markers, a dark, a medium, and a light. And we're going to be doing a lot of coloring with these today. So if you're new to this, this is the video for you. So I'm going to take this landscape right back here, use the darkest shade of this pen. This is tan, as I said. And I want to darken up sort of the base of all these croppings. I guess they're like rock croppings? Outcroppings of rock? I don't know. Scenery. And now I'm going to the medium pen, and I'm just starting to work my way up, blending it into that darker, working my way up. And what's great about this ink is because it is water-based, well, rather the ink that I stamped with, it's water-based, and therefore it is not interacting with the alcohol-based pens. If they were both alcohol-based ink, they would be muddy by now and it would just be a mess. So that's what we really like about the Spectrum Noir products, because they're so nicely labeled and easy to use for beginners and experts, and I am by no means an expert. There we go. So that's how we're doing that. Maybe we can zoom in a little bit more, Steve. And then I'm going to use, for some of the cactus, the tall cacti, we're blurry. There we go. I'm going to use the dull green, which is one of my favorite colors. Now you can buy all of these pens individually at Paper Wishes, or you can buy them in a pack, I believe of 24. I'll link all of those below the video. And if you're interested in the specific colors that I used, then just check below the video. There's some thumbnail photos of the cards. Just click on those and it'll show you exactly which colors were used. So now I've got my dark green. Now I'm going to go back with that medium, and I'm kind of blending that dark green with the medium and then coloring a little bit more of the cactus, but not the whole thing. I kind of divide it into thirds, but sometimes it's more like, I don't know, not quite that. Now I've got the lightest color, and I'm just finishing up the side of the cacti here that I have not colored. And that all kind of blended together. See, so you've got a nice dark side, sort of like the shadow side. And then we're lightening that up by coloring the surface with the lightest color. Here we go. And then when you get to the sun, we've got our citrus blend. This is just a nice yellow. And I take the darkest shade, go right there, and then I'm going to take the lightest one and just kind of go around those sunbursts, just like that. And then when I was coloring the sand, I went back to the tan color and use sort of the medium shade just to kind of highlight some areas on the ground and on the little hillsides like that. And then I went back to the lighter color and I just used this to color the surface, just like that. These smaller cacti, I used light green for those and just repeated the same technique that I did here. All right, so now let's talk about the background. So for this background, I used a stencil, and this is the Interlink Stencil, and it's really easy to use, but there are some tips I wanted to show you with that. So I've got my card here, and we're going to use our craft mat because we're going to get kind of messy. All right, and we've got a stencil. Now you can use a couple of different products to make it easy to stencil here. So you can just lay your stencil down over your card, and you can tape the corners using a low tack tape. This is a hunky-dory tape. Or you can use Pixie Spray, which is a light tack repositional adhesive for stencils. And I recommend this, especially with this stencil, because you can see it's got a lot of little bendy strippy pieces. Okay, so I'm going to take one side of this, I'm going to spray it off camera so it doesn't go all over my surface here. And I've just sprayed that. And you should know I sprayed it once before, so that's why I only used a tiny little bit. I would encourage you to use more than just one spray like I just did. All right, so now we're going to just lay that down like this. I see here in the center that these two are kind of bowing a little bit, so I'm just going to lay them out better. And the center of our card is going to cover that, so will probably be good right there. All right, then I'm going to take 2 shades of Prism ink. These are shimmer ink pads, and I don't know if you can really see on the corners here, but this does have a very lovely shimmer in the light, but it's just a little added sparkle there. So I've got Orange Zest and Smoked Paprika. We're going to do just the outside edges of this because as I said, the center is going to be covered, and why waste the ink? So we're going to take the Orange Zest. I've got this nice wide surface for this blender brush, and these come in a set of 3 rather, and then we also have another set of 4 equally good, and I will also place those in our products used list. And I'm just going to take this and just go, and I'm kind of going with the stencil this way as much as I can. And I'm only going to do one side of this so we don't take too much time. Just like this. All right. And then of course we want to clean our stencil right after we use it. And I do this every time to encourage people to do that. And then when you're not on camera, like I am, then you would just take this and run it through some water. I just use a little soap and water to get that nice and clean, and I just dry them on a paper towel. All right, so now we're going to lift this up so you can see what this looks like here. Now we're going to take the Smoked Paprika. We're going to just use the surface of the ink pad. We're just going to go like this along the edges. And then when you get to the corners, just do a little bit more of the surface just like that. Right? All right, so you would do that, of course, all the way around. And then once you're finished coloring, you're going to mat this. I like to cut it down. So this is what I started with. And then I just cut that down. I should measure that for you. Let's see. Cut that down to almost 7 inches by 2 3/4 of an inch. Matted that with some chocolate brown cardstock, and then placed a sweet little sticker here. This one is We're Together Dazzle stickers in pastel. And it has all of these wonderful pastel colors. There's even a peach in there, which is what I use. Let's see if I can find it. Sometimes these stick together. There we go. There's the peach. All right. Okay, just dropped something. That's all right. All right, so let's move on to the next stamp. I don't need this anymore. So on this one, I wanted to show you. Okay, this one is Nostalgic Home or a nostalgic house, even though there's a row of houses here. And on this one, I put this on a 6.5 by 5 inch card. So I cut it down just a little bit more. This is what it looks like, once again, stamped with that rustic brown alcohol-proof ink. And you can see I just cut off just, oh, hardly any, just about this much on, oops, sorry, just about this much on this side. So it does fit really nicely on these 6.5 inch cards, and I'll put the link to those in the bottom as well. I covered the card in the back of the card rather with, yes, Joyous Christmas 12 by 12 pattern cardstock, because it's got these fabulous plaids that aren't really Christmas at all. You can use them year round. I love this one. And then also my little die here, Happy Birthday, Mini Expressions Stacked Happy Birthday. I'll also link that below. And then of course a little red ribbon in this red ribbon collection. And let's take a look at how I colored this one. So for this one, first of all, I should talk about how I colored the sky on these. So I like to use Blue Lagoon. These little prism ink pads are just adorable. And I'm going to use, maybe not my largest brush. Let's use the smaller brush. I'm going to take this, a little bit of blotting. I do need to have my craft mat back. Let's do it like this. And then I like to start off with the sky first. I should have mentioned that with the desert, but you're just going to be doing this, kind of running it down and running it from the sides, just that color, because I don't want it to be all over color, because I want it to look like there's a little bit of a cloudy sky. So the white left, it just makes for a really nice white fluffy clouds, just sort of like that, okay? Or you can just cover the entire surface, and you want to go really light. I do it first so that I can get down into the houses and trees, because once I color them, you're not going to see any of that blue ink, okay? Let's wipe this off as well. All right, so for colors, I used some earth brown. I also used dark red, my favorite shade of blue, true blue. And then I also used dull green and citrus green. So let's start with the grass here down below. Wanted to do this medium shade of green, and usually I like to do the grass sort of last, but we'll start off with this. We'll just do this little section. And then you switch to the light, that was the medium. And then we're just sort of blending that down to that lighter shade, okay? Whoa, I am totally off camera. I am so sorry. Let's try that again. So I did the medium shade here, and then I just went to the lighter shade, went like this down below. And then I'm gonna switch to the dull green for all these little bushes, just like this, and the trees. And the stamped trees just sort of are, they're not a complete stamp, so there's not a complete image there. There's some that you would just have to use your imagination and kind of fill that in like that. And then I'm going to return to the lighter. So the dark is under the trees, and the lighter is going to go up, just like that. We're just blending, blending, blending. And we're doing the same down here. And then I'm going to just color one of these houses for you, because they're all pretty much done the same. Start off with the dark brown on my house roof, just towards the front of the house, that sort of trim there. And then towards the base of the roof. And then I'm going to switch right over to the light, go from the dark to the light. Just like that. Now we've got our little red brick chimney. I'm going to use the medium one right there. You know what I noticed? There's another chimney right here that I just missed from this one. Sort of another little chimney. This house has two. And then at the top of the chimney, I just do that with brown again. And we're going to go to our medium blue. And I just color towards the base of the house, kind of around the bushes there with the darkest color. And I'm going to go up a little bit with the medium color, just up the walls like that. And now I'm going to finish with the lightest color. And then I'm going to go around the top of the house like that. And then for the window, I'm just going to go to the center of the window is going to be blue. And then I return to that earth brown to do these little shutters on the sides. And that's pretty much it right there. And then I just repeat that with the sort of going here. I went red house, blue house, red house, blue house, red, red, blue in between. So just tried to alter those colors a little bit so it just looked charming. I'd like to live in that charming little village. All right, so our next card is also, this one is called Village in Those Days. And that's this one right here. And this is what it looks like with the brown ink. And so for this one, once again, the slimline card, 8 by 3.5. I colored this one in Wood and Textures paper. Go. This is what this paper pack looks like. These are 8.5 by 11 papers, which is just perfect for card making. And I used this one right here to cover my card. And then I went ahead and I took, this is the Rectangle Torn Edge die set. And I just took this second from the largest die and I just placed it right up near the top because I wanted to get the tops of the trees and the church steeple. And then just die cut that so it had this really cool torn edge. Then I went ahead and colored that just as I did the other ones. I used golden brown for this field and the haystacks, and then dull green here, the true blue, the same true blue for the houses, the red, the brown, colored those in the same way that I did the other houses. Did use a little bit of ice gray there on the church. And then once that was die cut, then just added that. Now, I guess I would say die cut it first because you do lose this part, and why color that? So go ahead and die cut it first, and then you can color your image. It saves you a little time. Then right here I added, these are script greeting dazzles, and these are in primary colors. So that's red, yellow, green. And we also have blue, brown, and black in there, just for a little extra additional to the primary. And added Miss You, and then this sweet little gingham ribbon, this little bow at the top there. And then I added some lengths of foam tape from this great big large wheel of foam tape that we have at Paper Wishes. I'll connect that below in the supplies as well. All right, and then for the last card, this is called Meadows with Butterflies. Here we go. That's this one right here. And for this one, I also wanted to show you, I stamped this on a 6.5 by 5 inch card using that same wonderful rustic brown. And I really liked how just it had that sort of sepia quality with it. Stamped, hope your birthday wishes, hope your birthday blooms with happiness. This is the floral greeting stamp set, which just worked perfectly with that. But on this slimline card, also used that stamp set, but for the background, Secret Garden 12 by 12 cardstock was lovely. It has this wonderful floral backgrounds that are just really subtle and great for these stamped cards, and then matted it with the coordinating cardstock. And for this one, I just moved it over to the right. I wanted it to be flush with this edge just for something a little bit of a different layout. I stamped that one with black ink. Either of these two would work. Did the same technique for the sky. And then for this one, I think, let's see, I just used several shades of green. I used dull green and then light green as well. And then also just a little bit of golden brown for the wheat stalks, and then colored these little flowers with light pink, bright pink. The butterflies I stamped here As you can see, they're in a cluster here, but they also repositioned the stamp, and I just inked 2 of them and inked those and placed those right there. What do I use for stamping? You got to get a stamping platform. I use the Misty, which we have here, and that made inking these, and then maybe you didn't get a great image on this large stamp, so I went ahead and inked it again and kept restamping until it had that vivid image that I wanted. So I think I've covered everything, you guys. We've got a great money saver on this collection of stamps. I think that they are very versatile. You can do lots of different sizes of cards. You can color them, or you can use them just that single sort of monotone card, and they're just very versatile. So definitely, maybe we could zoom out a little bit, Steve. Maybe we could show you the money saver right there on the right-hand side of the screen. Take a look at that. And if you're watching us on YouTube, just look in the description box below the video and you'll see the link that'll take you to this Paper Wishes page. And if you're shopping just for a few items, look below our video and you'll see the products used, and you can add those right to your cart. Thanks for joining me today. Consider leaving us a comment, a thumbs up if you liked any part of our video. It really helps people find our channel, and subscribe. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.